Dark School presents Add and Subtract. Recall that an algebraic expression has got terms in it separated by the plus or the minus sign. The individual terms can be variables or constants or the product of variables and constants. Two terms are called like terms when they have the same variables raised to the same exponent on them. For example, if we have a x, y square over here, and if we have a, let's say, x, y square over here, this term and this term are like terms, but if we have a x square, y square over here, this term and this term are not like terms, and this term and this term are not like terms because this is the odd one out having a x square on it. Let me just write that down. This and this are called like terms. On each term, the constant number that is multiplied with the variables is called the coefficient of that variable or that term. So if we have a 2 here with a negative sign before it, so we would say the coefficient of xy square on this term is negative 2. Similarly, if we have a 3 here, we would say the coefficient of x square y square is positive 3. If we do not see a coefficient, it indicates that the coefficient is 1 because 1 times anything is that number itself. And that works for variables because at the end of the day, variables are nothing but numbers that are just hidden from our views. So if you don't see a coefficient there, feel free to assume there's a 1 here. Now consider this. Let's say you have a basket of fruits in which there are 2 apples and 3 oranges and let's say another 3 apples. So if I were to ask you to combine them or add them up, what would you do? You cannot add the 2 apples with the 3 oranges. You could say, okay, I would add the 2 apples with the 3 apples, so I have 5 apples. So you add apples to apples, and then you have 3 oranges. The idea is, in algebra, you can combine like terms, just like you can combine apples with apples, and you cannot combine unlike terms, which means you cannot add or subtract unlike terms because you cannot add or subtract apples with oranges. And the way to do that is just to add up the coefficients of the like terms together with the signs. So if you were to combine this x square or a 1x square with this negative 2x square, you would do a 1 minus 2, which gives you a negative 1. So when you combine them, you get negative 1xy square. You can get rid of the 1 that's not required. It's always implied. So that is equal to negative xy square. So if you were to simplify this, this would be negative xy square, the 2 like terms combined, plus you cannot add the oranges. The 3x square y square stays like that. Maybe you could bring this over to this side. For 1, we usually write the higher powers at the beginning of an expression, and then we tend to, it's a norm, it's not a rule, I can't say that's a rule, but we tend to push the negative quantities towards the end. So this could be rewritten as 3x square y square minus x y square. Let's try a couple of examples, combining like terms. Let's say we have 5x squared minus 4x plus 2x squared minus x plus 1. Your first job is to bring the like terms together. X squared and x squared are like terms, so you do a 5x squared plus 2x squared, bring them together, make them sit next to each other. You are allowed to do that, something called the commutative property of addition. And then we have a minus 4x and a minus x. So these two form like terms. And then we have the constant in the end, plus 1. Combine these two. 5 and 2 is 7. 7x squared. And then negative 4 and negative 1. There's a 1 here. Let's not forget. And that's negative 5x plus 1. Let's try another one. How about combining, let's say, 3p squared minus pq plus 2q squared plus 4pq minus 4p squared. Let's look at the terms. We have a p squared here and we have another p squared here, so they become like terms. Bring them together. 3p squared minus 4p squared. We need to combine them. And then we have a minus pq, so we have a minus pq and another plus 4pq. These two are like terms, pq and pq. And then finally we have a 2q squared, and I guess that's it. 5 terms. So this is going to be equal to, if you combine 3 with this negative 4, combine the coefficients, that's going to be 3 plus negative 4, so that's negative 1, negative, no need to write the 1 that's implied, so negative p squared, minus pq plus 4pq, so minus 1 plus 4 is positive 3 or plus 3 pq plus 2q squared. This is how you add or subtract terms in algebra.